Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of SEO Traffic Hacks Sniff Test Site Review. The reason I elected to start this was because in speaking with a lot of members on Skype, in private messages, people have asked me to look at their sites, look at things with their SEO, and also with customers, they ask me to do it all the time. So one of the things that I consistently see is a skills gap between those that do SEO and those that do actual web design or traditional marketing. And I'll just preface this by saying I'm no expert in any one area of any of this stuff. I'm really a general jack of all trades, but I have a lot of experience over the years with imaging, messaging, creating marketive messages, calls to action, large scale communication plans, and the effectiveness of those. So what I really wanted to do was kind of look at the flow from beginning to end and say, okay, well, right, we've got a lot of great people here on SEO Traffic Hacks that know how to bring traffic to the site, but are they really maximizing everything that they can do once those people actually get to the site? And what I've found is after looking at a lot of sites, there's a lot of people out here that could really use, just some general tips with their site, a little bit of help. And they may have some serious problems with their site and they just don't know it, don't know any better, don't know anybody they can ask. It's, oftentimes hard to find somebody that knows anything. So what I wanted to do was just kind of lay out a little program by which, folks could send me their site. We'll look at them and we'll just kind of go through them. And my thoughts in this are I don't want to get too far down into the weeds on what's wrong with these sites or what can be done to fix them but really what I want to do is kind of look at these from 6 perspectives and just give some really high level advice on some things that you can change and that can maybe potentially get the wheels turning. One thing that we also struggle with is, obviously experimenting, testing, doing things with sites. We don't want to invest a lot of money into a site unless we know we can get it going. So the other thing that I want to do with this is actually show you some really cost-effective ways where you can go out and potentially make your site look, worlds better, volumes better, with just a few bucks. There's a lot of resources out there. And also kind of show you how you can mimic other authority sites and what to look for that could potentially make your site look more like an authority, even though that it's not. So with that being said, what I've got on the screen here is basically the 6 criteria that I'm going to look at when I actually go through these sites. The first one will be, when a visitor comes into your site, what's the very first immediate impression they're going to get? I can tell you that when I hit a site, I can look at it immediately and we all know it either catches your attention or you click and you leave. And then, once you start to get into the site and they start to kind of go through it a little bit, we're going to talk just high level on the overall layout and how the site can navigate. And if it's easy enough or, simple enough for people to get around on. We're going to talk just in, specifics about the brand that the site conveys and the actual design. Just give a quick summary of that. One thing I really want to focus on more so is the marketing messages. One of the things that I see a lot are the marketing messages are just targeted all wrong. And they're talking more about the person themselves or the offering themselves and not so much about the problem. I also want to talk about the call to action, if it can be easily found and how effective it will potentially be. And then finally, does the site have enough authority or social proof validation that makes me actually want to take that call to action and open up my pocketbook and take my money out and give it to you? Okay. But the goal for this is not to really bash anybody here. It's not to, pick people's sites apart. It's not for anybody to be some massive critic that says, your site sucks. This is more about giving feedback because from my perspective, there really is no such thing as failure. A lot of this is trial and error. There's no hard, fast rule to it. So what we want to be able to do is just offer some feedback. And then obviously, as we start to do this, other folks that watch these can actually, dive in and also give some pointers and have a bit of the mind share and kind of let these folks, here's some things you might want to try as well. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? This is pretty, cost effective. You might be able to try this. Here's a place where you might be able to get a service to get this done for, $5, $10, $20, $25. That could, really help. And then others could see this and they could actually, pull from this and, leverage it in their own world. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump to the first site. Okay, now one thing I'm going to point out here is you're going to see some information on the screen that is blurred out. And the reason for that being is, some of these sites, they are money sites, they are brand sites. I'm not looking at any type of linking or SEO strategy or anything that's going on with these sites. I just don't want to get into that here. This is not the intent of this. So if you see things that are blurred out, I'm going to kind of walk you through and tell you what they are if you can't figure them out on your own. But this is a member, Zen. And one of the challenges that he had with his site was that he was concerned that it wasn't, converting at the level it should be. So I said, hey, let me take a look at your site and let me give you some pointers. And so he gave me the link. I came into the site and, this is just my first blush, just kind of clicking in and kind of going to it. Immediately when I come into the site, it just doesn't have any kind of wow factor to it. So when we go back to, our first thing, our immediate impression, we look at this and I come to this and I just say, this just kind of looks like any other, hypnotherapy site that's out there. It's got a bunch of text on it. I see some things on here. It's not really killing me, but to be frank with you, this looks to me like, 99% of the other sites that are, out there on the internet. And so, my thing right away is you really need to clean the site up. You need to create white space. And, it's a lot. It's kind of overwhelming when you come into the site. So we started with that. The second thing is the overall layout and the navigation points. I think the navigation is fine on it as far as getting around from page to page. The contact information is, kind of right there on the front. There is a call to action there, but we'll get a little bit more into that. But, I think the navigation is probably okay here. We have some drop-down menus that sit here. I see about us, I see clinic details, these types of things up here, pretty straightforward. I'd say that's probably okay. It could probably be cleaned up in some of the sub menus. They're a little confusing, but we won't get into that too much. Brand and design. I think the site has great colors. It's green. It's fresh. It does have this image of, I feel great, on the front of it. But generally speaking, this is kind of where I get into, the site, is mobile compatible. So that's awesome. People are looking for this type of local service, on their mobile phone. Maybe they're somewhere, sitting in a car at traffic or, whatever on their lunch hour or whatever it is. And that, they're looking for this thinking about, I want to, stop smoking or I want to lose weight or, whatever it is. So, it's pretty easy to navigate. But as I go through the list here, this is where it starts to get really, really deep. One thing that I noticed right out of the gate is the marketing message to me is not good. It does not grab my attention. If you go through the general content of the site does not talk about anything that would relate to my problems. It more talks about the problems or the types of services and the background of the clinic. It does talk a little bit to the different types of solutions that they provide, but it just does not really knock the cover off the ball with the messaging that it has. Now, it's easy for me here to sit here and pick this apart, but as we go through this, you're going to kind of see, where I'm going with this. Call to action and effectiveness. There is a call to action right here on the front. The problem I have with this now is, if I click on it, it says call us now. It takes me to a contact form. The numbers here, it's just not, it just doesn't really scream and nail me and hit me right in the face. It's just like there's just too much here, and you may say I'm over emphasizing, but and then the last thing is the call to action and the quotes. Now, I will give him credit here. He's got some really good testimonials right here on the front page. That's awesome, and it's actually right next to the call to action. He's got some information here from his Facebook page, so he's got some social links out, and those types of things where you can get to. He's got some posts; they're kind of detailed. But what I did to kind of take and give you an idea as to why I wanted to do this. I actually worked with Zen on this site, and we actually gave it a facelift. And we incorporated all of the ideas, sort of what I just laid out. And I'm going to walk you through. So now you can see the before of this site. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right back, and I'm going to show you the after. And here is the after makeover of this site. And again, I'm going to have some things that are blurred out here. But as you can see, this did not take an overly amount of time. I would say in total, the work between the two of us to pull this off, I'm thinking somewhere combined between 5 and 8 hours of collaboration, and we had it nailed. Now, I will say that the content on the inside of the page, it still needs some work, and I'll get to that as we go. But what you can see here is we have drastically cut down on the text on the front page and the clutter. I mean, we have got it down to caveman level, third grade level. When I come to the site, immediately, I can see the types of problems that they solve. It doesn't talk anything about the services. And I know a lot of people don't like sliders, and you can dig on them all you want. But to be honest with you, this is the kind of slider, if you're going to have one that's really going to get into it. I mean, these things are hammering, basically real hard at the heart of the painful problems that these people suffer from. Self-image. Notice, we're not focusing really so much on weight loss or smoking or, I just don't look good or whatever it is. This focuses on one level up, which is a self-image. And then maybe we get into a scenario of weight loss, back that up with a customer testimonial. Again, trying to quit. It's really not about stop smoking. It's just about quitting addiction, craving. These are the types of things that you really need to get to. And then obviously, we hit on the alcohol here. This is very, very visual, very impactful, and it's going to immediately, grab people's attentions. Here again, we're talking about, mental illnesses, phobias, anxiety, stress, panic, sleep loss, fears, problems that just erode you and hurt you. And show you that you can basically change from I can't do something to I can do something. So, while the site before talked a lot about the services they offered and, what this person, was all about, this really just talks to the customer and says, I know that you have a problem. And as you can see here, we fixed it for a lot of people. So, you can have some trust in us. Now, that's going to get them immediately. The very second thing we're going to do is we're going to tell them, this is the action we want you to take, right? We want you to talk to hypnotherapist now. You're going to click this big orange button. It's a free consultation, no obligation, and you're there. Okay. Nothing more, nothing less. That's going to take you to a page with a form, and a phone number, and I'll show you the inside in a little bit. The services that we offer. So this place offers, I don't know, probably 15 different solutions or 20, something like that. I can't remember what the total number is, but we don't want to talk about that specifically. What we really want to get into is the marketing messages that we want to send to these people. And we up-leveled it as high as we could. When you're asking yourself a question about marketing, and you want to know what a benefit is, you're always going to ask yourself the question, so you can do what? So if you come to me and you say, hey, Brian, I'm going to sell you a widget, I'm going to ask you, so I can do what? And you might say, well, it can make you run faster. And I might say, so I can do what? And you should always be able to get down to a question. If you continue to ask the question, so you can do what? That has something to do with more money, looking better, feeling better, thinking better, saving time. These are the types of things that you want to get to. And these are the level of marketing messages that you want to get to. So basically what you can see here is we've started out and we've identified what the problems are at a very high level. We've given a call to action, and then we've come back again and we've told them, hey, listen, these are the services. We can help you think better, get rid of your emotional and mental instabilities. We can help you look better. We can get rid of those nasty habits and damaging physical conditions and feel better. Get rid of the depression, anxiety, and the life-threatening stress. And as you can see, this is much more easier to digest than what we looked at before. And then, the contact information is all down in the bottom of the footer here on every page. Makes it very easy. Now, what you can see is, you'll notice here, we've cleaned up this very much. We got a section about that's got, the basic information about the clinic. We've got how we can help, and we've broken this down again into look better, feel better, think better. And these are the things that are mapped back up to that. Articles, we don't call it a blog. We just call it articles. You might call this free stuff, free information, whatever you want to call it. Again, this is still kind of a work in progress. It's not completely done yet. We're still collaborating on the inside copy and what that needs to be. Zen has done a great job of writing a lot of stuff, but I think what he has learned through this organic process is that he needs to change the way that he thinks about how he's communicating the services that he provides in a way that really grabs the customer, by the shirt collar and says, "Hey, I know you've got a problem, and this is how I can solve it. And here's some proof of some people that I've solved it for." But now you can see as we go into the inside was very cluttered before. This is so simple. Basically what we have here is we have an article. Or a page on, whatever the service is, hypnosis for weight loss, stress, phobia, gastric band, whatever these things are. And then very simple on the inside, free consultation and testimonials to back it up right next to the call to action. Phone number is very easy to find right here at the top of the site. It's very clean, very easy. If I come to contacts and directions, everything is pretty straightforward. We, like I said, we're still working through some of the mechanics of this. But one thing, like I said, so let me just tell you how we kind of worked this site back over. And we did it actually on a shoestring. So the first thing I'll tell you is, as we go through this, the immediate impression is, it grabs your attention. It's simple. It's to the kindergarten caveman level here. You can get it immediately. Overall layout navigation, you can see it's simple. It's mobile compatible. Brand design and summary, very clean, refreshing, just does not, a lot of white space, big text, call to action effectiveness. You can see the call to actions are just blatantly obvious. You can't miss them. I mean, the conversion is probably going to go through the roof on this thing. And then obviously authority, social proof, we've got, right here on the homepage, really nailing it. And then on the inside, we've got those as well. Now, what did we do to do this and how much did it cost? Obviously Zen and I have some collaboration time in here that we work together on this little project for. But what I can tell you is the theme that it's running on is Avada. And, that theme will run you, I don't know what it is, $89, but gosh, chances are you've probably already got a copy of it and already used it once before. So, you'd have to buy that. The images we bought from 123 RF, I would say total maybe $20 US. You can go to Dollar Photo Club wherever you want, whatever way you get the pictures. But man, you've got to get them simple. Down to the third grade level. Other than that, there's really nothing else running on this. This site is, obviously 100% mobile compatible. He did step up his game and move to Gravity Forms on this. You don't have to use Gravity Forms. I mean, there's plenty of form software on there. Gravity Forms is pretty powerful. You can do some crazy stuff with it. The cool thing with Gravity Forms is you can actually set up a Gravity Forms server or just use the Gravity Forms instance on this WordPress. And there's actually on GitHub, you can actually install a plugin add-on that will allow you to iframe your forms. So if you want to take your forms from your site and you want to embed them on other sites like parasites or landing pages or whatever you want to do, you can actually iframe them and put them in there so you can reuse them. And then those things will actually flow right into your intake process on your leads. And then you can manage it all from one WordPress instance. So you don't have to mess with all that. It's pretty slick. You don't have to reset anything up. You can just keep using the same form over and over again. So it's pretty awesome. The other thing that we did obviously do was we added in the local SEO plugin from Yoast. That allows you to have all your NAP information down in the bottom of the page, along with driving directions. You can actually, there's actually a little feature on there where you can actually type in your directions, and you can hit route, and it will print you out turn-by-turn directions right on the site. Or if you're on a mobile device, it will actually open up right in your phone and kick your GPS off and take you right where you want to go. I use that with a lot of local clients, especially those that are in a rural area that people have a hard time finding. It's a pretty big deal. So, the only thing that really needs to be done with this site now at this point in time is the content really needs to be gone through. And I will tell you that Zen actually did a pretty decent job writing the content. I write my own content. It took me a long time. I'm not a copywriter by any means, but I write all my own content. And one thing I learned from myself is to actually, I actually have somebody that edits my content for me. I actually hired a copywriter once. And when I hired that copywriter, I got very, very comfortable with him, and I got very familiar with him, and I learned a lot from him. And I got to the point where I could actually sort of learn how to adapt and write my own copy. And now I just give the copy to them, and they just edit it, mark it up, and really say what I meant to say. Because, one of the things that I consistently you'll hear me say or hear me post on the forums are, it's really hard to read the label when you're inside the jar. The problem is that when you're constantly looking at your stuff and you don't bounce it off somebody else, you kind of get caught in a trap and in a rut, and you do the same things and you make the same mistakes. So sometimes a fresh pair of eyes can make a huge difference in what you do. So this is just one example of a site that, we've given a complete overhaul to. And, this thing's about ready to go live. And I would say that we'll probably see a huge difference in the amount of conversions versus the old site, where we were at. And again, this was not really anything more than taking what was already there and just kind of reworking it and really tightening it up. So, a lot of times people will think that what they have is the final product. And I got to be honest with you, to me, that's usually just a rough draft. If you can find somebody that can help you, at this level, go through it and actually take it to the next level. You've done most of the legwork up front and spend most of the time. The additional amount of money that you're going to invest to really put the spit shine on it and polish it is going to far outweigh, when it comes to start converting. Your ROI is going to be infinitely higher because your conversion rate is going to go through the roof. I can tell you that if I go to this niche right now and I look at all the other sites that are out there, they look exactly like the site that was up there before. And now, when somebody comes and they click in the top 3 and they hit this site, I can assure you that they're going to take the call to action. They're going to call in because it looks clean, professional, and it looks like somebody spent a lot of time and a lot of money and really thought about what they do. And so it automatically, conveys authority and trust right out of the gate, by a clean, no frills, uncluttered design. So that's the first one I'm going to go through, and I'm going to pause this now, and I'm actually going to go through a second site. All right, so our second site here is from user Clint Butler. And Clint, I got to hand it to you. You've got a pretty clean site here. As far as navigation goes and those types of things, I think you've got it. It's pretty good. So I'm going to go through this immediate impression. I come to the site. My first immediate impression is this guy's a blogger, and obviously it looks like you are. So I'm going to put some challenges on you as I go through this process, and it's food for thought. I kind of see where you're going here with this. As I go through here, what I see immediately is a boatload of text, man. And I know you got a story here, and I know you got a story to tell, and I know that's important. But, if I hit your site, it's got to immediately grab my attention. And I think what you have here can be used. I think you just might want to look at it in a different way. And I think you could probably really simplify this and kick it up about 30 notches. Obviously you looked at the last site we did, and I think you could take it up. Okay, so quickly going through here, overall layout and navigation. The layout and the navigation is good, man. You got your main nav bar up here. You got your call to action up here, lead gen. You got a couple different lead call to actions going on here, and I'll get to that in a minute. Brand and design summary, pretty clean. The colors are pretty clean. I would say for my personal taste, this looks a little bit homegrown, and that's okay. Maybe that's the down to earth that you're going for. I totally get that. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I think probably I have a feeling by virtue, and again, I don't know how much traffic you get off this. I don't know what kind of revenue you're getting off this, but I just have a gut feeling by you reaching out to me and sending me this, that you're probably thinking, man, Brian, I really like to bump this off of somebody, but to be real honest with you, I really like to probably maybe evolve this, maybe 1, 2, 3, or 4 levels up. And I know that you do have some call to actions here. So I'm going to encourage a little bit of challenge in thinking here. Marketing message and positioning, again, I think it's pretty down to earth stuff. If I go in here, it's kind of a how-to blog that kind of shows you some information, et cetera, et cetera. I think your story is good. And I think that, this is what I do is good. I just think that I have to spend too much time reading to try to really get it. I mean, it should just absolutely punch me in the face immediately. As soon as I click on the page, I should get it that instant. If I've got to scroll down and I've got to read through all this, chances are you've probably lost me already. If I know what I'm already looking for. Call to action effectiveness. You do have a couple different call to actions here. One thing that I would challenge you is that if you're going to have a call to action, and there's a lot of buttons to click on this front page, there's just so many things to click on. I'm really not sure. So it's really distracting from, you've got sort of a semi call to action or a call to action up here in your hello bar. You've got a call to action over here on your right-hand side. And I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of bad about putting too many call to actions on a page too, because it seems like, you really want to get, as much of your stuff in front of your customers. Well, they'll potentially grab their attention as you can. But it's all here. Now, I'm not sure who your audience is that you're targeting. If you're targeting other SEO bloggers, or if you're trying to target, only local business owners. I know it talks a little bit of some of that down here in your marketing messages. You work with small business owners, and that you do lead generation for small businesses, social media, video marketing. Honestly, from your overall, if I just scroll down your recent posts and I don't even get into this, a lot of this information that you have in recent posts about domain flipping and internet marketers, honest ones, and these types of things, business owners not going to give two diddles about that. What a business owner wants to know is, how are you going to make my phone ring? How are you going to bring me more clients? How are you going to get me more emails? How are you going to get me more leads? How are you going to help me increase my sales? And how are you going to help me scale that up? Maybe even have to take it to the next level, and even have to help them, show them how to actually take that and put a sales system in place to help them actually scale their business, because they're so busy working in their business, they don't have time to work on it. So that's where you step in and you really start showing the value add and you start showing the money. Now, again, I'm making some assumptions here. So if my assumptions are wrong, you can hate on me. It's okay. I'm just telling you what I'm getting by when I come to the site the very first time, and sort of, what it gives me at first blush. Now, what I'm going to challenge you with here is sort of something a little bit different. And some people will laugh at this. They may scoff at whatever. But here's what I would do if this were my business. And I were going to go out and I were going to say, man, you know what? I'm going to take this to the next level. What I would do is instead of looking around at the different types of people that do maybe SEO blogs or traffic generation blogs or authority blogs or, whatever those types of things are, what I would look at is what are one or two authorities in the business of blogging or, generating these types of systems that have spent millions of dollars and have tested this inside and out, have a system and know that it works. So with that being said, what I'm going to hop on over to right now is the authority of all authorities when it comes really to blogging and copy, and that's Copyblogger. Okay. Now, once upon a time, several years ago, Copyblogger was a blog, and they had a lot of blog articles. In fact, Copyblogger has, I think, Google indexed in Google right now, 7,000 pages of index content that is all probably some of the best copy about copywriting, to be honest with you. But as they evolved, they also started to sell products, and they also started to sell services. Now, I'm not suggesting that you're by any chance trying to be a copy blogger, but one thing that I want to point out to you is that they have totally evolved their site. And I can tell you that they've spent millions and millions of hours probably, and, probably in upwards of several million, maybe dollars. I don't know, but they've spent a lot of money, certainly, studying traffic, multiple people on this, et cetera, et cetera. And you can know that by the amount of traffic that they get, you can go check their traffic. You can see the kind of traffic. And you can also look online and see the kind of revenue that they generate, that these guys have kind of figured out what works and what doesn't. And what you can see is that, as I said earlier about challenging to evolve, that they have actually evolved the way that they actually present their content to their customers or their potential target market. And when I come to a Copyblogger's front page, it's no longer a front page blog. In fact, it's a call to action for all of their products and services right here on the front page, right? There's a call to action. There's call to actions. There's call to actions. And look how simple and how easy and third grade level it is. If I want to learn something about content marketing, copywriting, SEO, or for your example, you talked about video or social media, this is, the type of approach that you may want to consider moving to. When I come in here, you'll notice that it does, even though it is a blog. If I want to go to the blog, I'm going to read the blog and go in there. I may not want to read that. I may want to just come to it. So here's the inside, and as you can see here, very simple, get the updates, get the e-course, and that's it. I mean, there's only one call to action on the page. And I think your blog could probably be, without a lot of work, or your site without a lot of work could be transitioned, into this type of format. And I think that when people come now, one thing that they have here is, we power websites at work, and they show their two services that they have here. So if I click on synthesis and I go in here, it takes me right into this web synthesis page, and it basically puts me into what it is they want to sell. Now, again, I'm not suggesting that you have this, level of site design, but just the thought of simplifying your home page and giving them nuggets. Basically, what I say is when somebody comes to your homepage, you don't want to throw everything at them all at once. What you want to do is you want to spoon feed people, and you want to give them information when they come in so that they just click on nuggets and read little nuggets. But you'll see very similar to the site that I showed you in the first example. Look at how simple this messaging and how clear it is. The complete website solution for content marketers and internet entrepreneurs. And I know you have a couple calls to action, and these could be the one or two calls to action that you have right here on your front page that you're potentially doing. If you have ebooks or whatever it is, that could be right here. Sign up for our internet marketing course. Then obviously come down here, online marketing advice. Maybe you have 3 posts across the front page that people can look at that would be your most recent posts, or maybe your 3 most important posts and your 3 most recent posts. I mean, obviously they have 4 here. It could be 2 and 2. Hey, here's my 2 latest posts, and here's my 2 most epic pieces of content. Maybe you have 2 sections on the front, left and right. Recent posts, epic posts. And I hate to use the word epic because it's been used jokingly a million times. Your tagline. I know that you had a tagline on your site. Marketing made easy, where it all comes together. Marketing made easy. What does that mean to me? What I would do is I would focus on a tagline that came and said something about the actual problem that you solve for the customer. You know, more clients, more sales, more profits. That's one that I use a lot. Or maybe you say something like, we solve your two biggest problems, more customers, more profits, something like that. Get into the problems, or what is the benefit? What is the pain? Don't have time to manage social media pages. We can do that, right? Too busy working in your business to work on growing your business. We can do that. So these are the types of messages I think that you want to get to. The problem that I see a lot of times with blogs like this is people have a tendency, and I used to be this way too myself, I'll be admitted, is they have a tendency to talk about the how I'm going to do it, how I'm going to do it, how I'm going to do it. When you're first starting out and you're first starting to communicate with people, you want to talk about the what it is, what is the problem that they have? How do you know what that problem is? Why are you intimate with that problem? Can you show that you demonstrate that you absolutely have a passion and know that problem is? Can you show that you can solve that problem, or demonstrate that you have already solved that problem from everything? You can actually sell a customer and get them to sign on a contract without ever even telling them how you're going to do it. You don't need to tell them how you're going to do it. All you need to do is tell them what you're going to do, what is the problem, and how you're going to solve it. So that's what I would encourage you on this, is to kind of really take a step back and look at what you have here and just say, hey, how can I take this to the next level? Because obviously when you come to a copy blogger, it is one of the authority sites on the internet, and you can take a look at this and you can, get in here and you can really, get in here and get to some stuff and, really, kick your business up. So I would encourage you, and I'm not saying that you have to keep it that way permanently, but what I'm saying is that you may want to take a look at this and say, how can I potentially look at maybe a copy blogger or one or two other extreme authority sites, I would call them, in the type of area. I would look at what are the top three, and then I would look at those top three, and I would look at all of the pieces within inside of those top three, the elements. What do they do? Because obviously these people are successful, and there's a reason why they're successful, because they are doing this. They've tested it. They've invested time in it. They've invested money in it. They figured out what works and what doesn't. And so there's really no reason for you to potentially reinvent the wheel. And I'm not suggesting you copy, but you can absolutely pick up the relics and the artifacts that they're leaving behind right now on the internet for you, and leverage those. And actually, in some instances, even take them and make them better. I ran across an SEO blog yesterday searching for an idea that I had in my head. And it came up in a search for something that I've probably searched on 2 or 3 times. They just happened to put an article on there about 2 weeks ago relating closely to this idea that I had. And when it came up and I went to the blog, I was almost floored, because I'd never heard of this blog. And it was an extremely clean design. It was very simple. And I mean, the messaging on it was, almost in kindergarten language. Now, I'm not by any means trying to promote this blog or anything, but what I can tell you is that because of the fact that I found what I wanted in the search, and I went to that blog, and it was immediately grabbed me by the shirt collar when I went in there. I actually stayed on that site for probably about 2 hours and read every post and read every thread, and actually took a sign up and signed up for one of their call to actions on it. Didn't spend any money, but I definitely got on their mailing list, and it intrigued me. So, that is the type of thing that you want to do, and the kind of behavior that you want to create, with this type of site. So I would definitely, encourage you to really, chew on this while you're out, walking the dog or taking a shower, or, laying in bed at night at 3 o'clock in the morning and staring at the ceiling thinking, man, what can I do to take this to the next level? I would just suggest you sit down and go through 3 sites and just make a list of all of the things that are different, that are simple, kindergarten, 3rd grade level, caveman. I use the term with Zen when we were working on his site, big animal pictures, pop-up books, elementary, like kids, you got to think primate, primary stuff that makes it just so stupidly simple for people to get the content, to get the message, and to show that you have the problem. So other than that, I personally am not in a position to say, hey, your site sucks or anything like that, because I don't think by any means it does. But I think that you could definitely kick it up about 10 notches to the next level. And then the only other thing that I noticed here is I didn't really see anywhere on here, and maybe I'm missing it. I just haven't went through the site enough, but it should grab me on the front page. Man, if you got clients, you need to get about 10 testimonials plopped up in here and about 35 to 40% bold font with some pictures, and get their quotes right on the front page, talking about how you solve their problems and how you made their life easier, how you put more money in their pocket, how you grew their business, whatever, show me. And I think that is going to also make a huge deal. You've got to have these authority or the social proof, on your site anymore for people to be able to want to, do this. I mean, just having comments down in the blog section is nice, but man, you really need some stories, to show people. Case studies are great, but there's nothing more powerful than a testimonial. And if you can get a video testimonial, that's even better. The other thing that I would recommend, that I've also recommended to Zen on his site, is get some high quality. I don't mean this, holding a cell phone up and doing a selfie video or low budget. Invest in some high quality video and put it on your site. So for Zen, I told him you need a 2-minute explainer on there that basically talks about the services that you offer and how it's going to solve their problem. And it needs to be high quality. Otherwise, people are just going to look at that. It's going to look ghetto and they're not going to trust you. For your site, I would recommend, potentially, one thing you can do that might even save you some time is you can actually do a video blog, and you can just do the videos, send it into Fiverr for $5. You can have it transcribed and put the text right up there on your site and edit it if you want to. It might even save you time, rather than actually doing it. If you're not comfortable with that, what I can recommend you do if you want to get some high quality video, go down to your local school, college, university, wherever, find a friend that's into TV, broadcast production, whatever, intern, anything. The lowest cost thing you can find with somebody with some talent. Go online, go on YouTube, go on wherever, look in your area, look for somebody that's into video production that's just getting started. Throw them a little cash, or tell them you promote them on their blog. Maybe you'll partner up with them. Maybe you'll give them some business, whatever. If you get some customers that want to do some video marketing, maybe you're the video marketing guy yourself. I don't know. Again, I don't want to get too far down into, the actual meat of the content in your story on your site. But these are the things that I would really, if you're selling video marketing, and I come into your site right now, I come here. The problem that I see is there's not a video on your site. So, that's kind of a gap. So I would definitely, fill that in, just as soon as I possibly could. So, there's a couple other videos, but they're not anything, of your own original material. So, that's really all I have about the site, and I hope that this is beneficial to you, and I hope it'll help get your head going and your wheels turning, and help you start thinking about maybe some of the things you can do to take your business to the next level and put more money in your pocket. Okay, so with that, I'm going to sign off on this first episode of the sniff test. We're going to get this posted up as soon as we possibly can, along with a transcript of the text that you can read if you're not a video watcher. I know I go fast. There's some people on here that English is not your native language. So for some of you, this may be the fast enough pace. Some of you might have to play it at 0.75 speed, and some of you might have to play it at 1.5 speed but we're going to put the text up. So if you're not a video watcher, you can actually, read the text on this. But, hopefully this will give you an idea on how you can actually improve your sites. And I look for people to please add color down in the bottom of the comments of this thread, because the more people we can get to collaborate on this, the more people we can provide input, the more ideas it gets. And, knowledge is power, guys. I mean, the more mind share that we have here, the more we can all make our pockets bigger. So, okay, thanks a lot. Talk to you on the next episode.